Hello everyone and welcome to another How Good Are. Today we're going to talk about some precious little babies and some characters who are actually pretty darn terrible, but might get saved by their personal or might not get saved by their personal. We're going to find out. We're going to start out today with the baby Yuma, who's definitely too young to be in this entire business, but blame Cubey for that. Actually, not blame Cubey, blame Oriko for that. People hate Oriko. I don't. But yeah, we have Yuma here. She has these discs, and guess what? These exact discs we're gonna see 2 more times in this video because all the other characters in this video have also exactly these discs. Which means they're supposed to be able to blast a little bit in so that they can, if they have some attack stats, if they have a good attack stats, you can maybe pass them with a blast disc, maybe give them a blast connect that way, and maybe they can do some damage, but of course they would have to have good attack stat for that. But otherwise, while they're worrying about that, maybe they can try and get to Magia. So all these Magias, we're gonna have to keep into consideration. But they're not gonna be super fast at Magia either. Like if they had 2 charge discs and 2 cell discs, they would be faster at generating Magia. But this way, it's still fine. It's still a decent speed to get to Magia. Keep that in mind for the other characters we're gonna talk about as well. She's a heal type, which means her stats gonna be terrible. Her stats are terrible. Her HP is absolutely awful. Even if she were to get uncapped to 5-star, her 5-star HP would be like maybe 5,000, maybe 4,000 higher. Still basically nothing. Like her HP is non-existent. Her attack also basically non-existent, doesn't exist at all. She almost has as little attack as Konami. Like Konami has the worst attack stat in the game. She doesn't even reach 5,000 attack at 4-star. But she at least is a little bit over 5,000, but not that far away from being as bad as Konami. Her defense is somewhat alright, like her defense is actually pretty alright. Keep in mind that she's only 4-star, so if she was at 5-star, her defense would actually be pretty alright. Her defense would actually be quite alright. But what does that matter actually, because she has so little HP? If you have only good HP or only good defense while the other stat is terrible, that still doesn't make you that survivable. Like, you're still gonna die rather quickly, but at least with high defense, what that means is that in theory you can tank damage from enemies that have low attack. Like low attack targets you can tank with high defense, while enemies that have a lot of attack, like a high attack targets, you can tank by having a lot of HP. That's the way it goes. So what else do we have with this character? The connect, of course, and the connect is basically non-existent. She basically doesn't have a connect. Okay, let's move on. Her Magia gives HP restore to all allies and still aim resistance up. I mean, it's what you would expect, I guess, from some sort of healer, right? A healer might have something like this, sure. Is it good? It's not terrible. It's not terrible. But since her connect doesn't exist, you're basically playing her only for this Magia. And for that, it's just nowhere near good enough. It's just nowhere near good enough, warranting an inclusion on a team for just a little bit of HP restore and aim resistance up on a Magia. Just don't play her. Just play any other healer. Play Kako. Just play Kako. Even Manaka probably does a better job at healing because, her Magia. I don't think Manaka's Magia heals, but Manaka in general is a better character. So aside from healing, she just does way more than Yuma, who only heals and gives a little bit of stealth aim resistance, and that's just not good enough. That's just not good enough. Who is worse, Tsukasa or Yuma? Hard to say. Now, so far with everything that we've seen so far, Yuma seems worse than Tsukasa, and we're gonna look at the Spirit Enhancement, and after the Spirit Enhancement, Yuma is still gonna look worse than Tsukasa. But there's one last thing we need to take a look at the end of this that might make it questionable which of the two is worse. So we have Guard Adapt here twice, which gives you 45% defense up passively, which is pretty darn amazing. But here's the thing, like I just said, having high defense is only good against enemies that attack you with low attack stat. If you're getting hit by big attacks, because she has no HP, she's just gonna die anyway, and her defense isn't gonna matter much. So that kind of sucks. She just has Regenerate HP, which is, regenerates HP based on your max HP, and since you have very low max HP, it doesn't actually regenerate that much. What does she have? Anti-stun, and she has a chance to stun on attack. I guess that's fine. And because she's a support, she has skill quick and stealth aim resistance up. It's also fine, I guess. Her active is just another heal. So I guess everything that she has a heal in it. She can heal herself, she can heal allies, but she doesn't do anything else. She's not tanky even though she has a bunch of defense. So she still dies pretty fast. She has no damage, absolutely no damage, but she can heal a little bit. Now there's one thing we haven't taken a look at, and one thing that might actually make some people want to include her. So personal, gives blast draw. And I guess there are some strategies out there where you can say, I'm going to include a basically useless character just to have a blast draw. And yes, Yuma is a useless character. I don't like Yuma. I think Yuma is one of the worst characters, like story-wise, in the entire Madoka universe. But you know what? Write me in the comment below what you think about that. But yeah, if there are some specific strategies where you don't care playing a terrible character just to have blast draw, I guess you can play this. There are only 3 other characters in the entire game that have blast draw. One is Final Tart, one is Nanaka, and one is Mariko Ayaka. Yeah, she has this blast draw as her active. Isn't that amazing that we have 2 of the 4, actually it might be more than 4, 2 of the characters that have blast draw personal in one video, one after another? Isn't that amazing? I didn't make this up. Someone just recommended or requested both of these characters in a single comment, so that is just the way it worked. So yeah, we see already that, hey, maybe if you want to play a specific strategy that requires blast draw, you could use either Yuma, who's terrible, or Ayaka in that for the blast draw. But is Ayaka terrible? Yes. But why? So she has the same discs, she is defense type. Her stats are very similar to what we just saw from Yuma, but she has way more at HP. So better stats, because she actually has some HP, so she can actually tank, I guess, a little bit, because she has some noteworthy HP. Also, she's only capped at 4-star currently. All these characters we're going to talk about are capped at 4-star in this video. Her connect gives endure and crit. It's not good. It's not good at all. Not good at all. I don't like stuff like endure on a tank, like only endure as the defensive part of a connect, because it's way better. It's way better if the connect reduces the damage that the other target is going to take, instead of just hoping they don't die and then having them endure instead of dying. Like, sure, I would like to keep my characters on high HP instead of waiting for them to drop low HP and then trying to save them while they're on death's door. That doesn't sound nice to me. Crit, just 60% crit without any damage up or attack up or anything else is not that great. And it's only 60%. Other characters have more than 60% on their connect. Like at least 70% other characters have. So, no, it's not good. Then we have fun. Isn't that a... This must be the work of an enemy stand. It gives defense up to all allies and remove debuffs. Remove debuffs usually doesn't do much, so you might as well treat this Magia as if it does only defense up to all allies. And I guess is it good enough for that? Not specifically. I guess if you want to specifically have a tank setup, you could do this, but just play Kako. Like, Kako doesn't have a defense up on a Magia, but Kako's regenerate and general kit helps a lot more at keeping your characters alive than this Magia does, and Kako has Excel Draw passive language. Just playing Kako. Is this the second time I said let's play Kako in this video? It's kind of like so many low rarity characters that try to be either tanky or healy just sort of get completely stomped by Kako. Just play Kako instead. What about Spirit Enhancement? Endure in PvE only. It has Provoke. Look at that Provoke on a character who might take some hits. That's way better. Damage cut as well. Critical hit for some reason. She's a defense type, but she gets critical hit. Sure. She gets 10% attack up, which might as well be 0 because she has so little attack. Even with full Spirit Enhancement, she has so little attack. The 10% attack up does basically nothing. Just basically nothing. Blast damage cap at least is I guess fine. Also, welcome to the stream as well, Magical LeBlack. What else do we have? Endure and regenerate HP, which is a worse Survive. I mean, I guess they're trying to make it like Survive, but a little bit worse. Just make it a Survive instead. Survive is not that overpowered. But even so, this is just not good. This is just not good enough. There's a bunch of Endure that she has in her kit. No, just no. Just no. She just doesn't do anything special. She's a little bit tanky, but not really a full tank. Like, she's not as good as a full tank. Her offensive stuff is just the crit in here, which is not good enough. Her Magia is not that great either. Her Spirit Enhancement is only middle of the road. She's just not that good at all. But hey, she has Blast Jaw. You know who in universe, like in the story itself, you know who is one of the most powerful fighters in the entire story? It's Sasara. I don't know why, but she is one of the best fighters in the entire story because she does a bunch of crazy stuff in the story, in her Magic Lure story. But anyway, she also has the same discs as I said. She's also defense type with stats that are a little bit worse than Ayaka, so I guess she's not going to tank that well. But also, she's also not quite at 5-star. Sure. Before we move on, she doesn't have Blast Draw as a personal. I'm sorry, guys. We're gonna have to have a character who doesn't have Blast Draw as their personal. It gives Endure Self 3 turns. Terrible. The Connect. Hey, this in my opinion is better than an Endure on the character you're connecting to, because it makes it so that that character you're connecting to takes almost no damage. Like, they stay at high HP instead of dropping all the way to low HP, and then maybe they get help. That said, it has no offensive part to it, and if the idea behind this connect is the character you're connecting to takes no damage or little damage, an evade would probably have been better, because evade also makes it so the character you're connecting to doesn't take any damage. I mean, they take 0 damage with that, with evade. With this, they still take at least a bunch of damage still, so not that great at all. Like, this is just worse than just give the target evade. And if this connect was just evade, it would be terrible. So it's even worse than terrible. At least the Magia. Guess what? We're actually having a Magia in this video that's actually kind of decent. So we have defense up. So by the way, she was buffed at one point on the Japanese server to have her defense up go to all characters. So it goes to all allies for 3 turns. Wait a second. This is just Ayaka's Magia, but better, because it actually does other stuff that is good. It actually does other stuff that is good. Awesome. What does it do? It gives Provoke to Self and Endure. Oh my god, that actually helps you tanking stuff a little bit. So yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Actually, a bit of Magia. Still not that great, because Sasara herself just isn't that great. She's not actually that tanky, even though she's a defense type, because her stats aren't actually that good, but that's because she's a low rarity character. As a low rarity character, her stats aren't that great, so she's not going to be able to tank that well, but at least better than Ayaka, because she at least takes some hits. What about her SE? Provoke, Endure, sure. Damage cut, fine. Regenerate HP to self, sure. Here's the interesting bit. It gives damage up when attacked by weak elements, which is dark type, and she also has dark attribute damage cut, so she's actually supposed to go toe-to-toe with dark element units, reducing the damage they deal to her while getting more MP from that, which she can then channel into more defensive stuff. Awesome. And her active is one of the, if not the only active in the entire game, that works only in PvE. Does that mean this active is overpowered? No. This active would still be terrible in PvP. I think the reason why is because this was one of the first few Spirit Enhancements that were added to the game, I think. I'm not quite sure. But I think this was about the earliest Spirit Enhancements, where they weren't quite sure how strong certain effects are going to be. I'm not quite sure exactly when she got her SE, actually. But yeah, so maybe they thought it was going to be too strong if it was also mirrors. It wouldn't be. Because it just gives dark attribute damage cut 15% to all allies for 1 turn. It's not that good. It's not that good. It only works against dark damage, and even then it's only a tiny bit of reduction. But still, if you're using this together with your Magia, let's say you're using your Magia and this active, and the enemy is a dark type, not only are you going to take a lot less damage because you have a lot of defense, you're going to have a lot of dark attribute damage cut, 2 dark attribute damage cuts on top of a normal damage cut. and when you get attacked, you get bonus MP. So there is some synergy here. She actually does have some synergy. She actually does have something in her kit that seems like there is some theme here, some coherence between different parts of her kit. What? That's usually never happening with kits of low rarity characters, that there's actually some coherent idea behind their kit. However, it's just not enough. She would need more Dark Eye damage cards, she would need more MP up when attacked by weak element, she would just need to have more MP gain. Defense doesn't have good MP gain, so that's kind of terrible. Her stats in general are terrible, so just her stats aren't that great. So overall, I appreciate that there's some sort of theme going on here with her kid, but she's just not good enough to actually make use of that theme at all. Yeah, so that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and I'll see you guys next time.